Hello and welcome, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. So great to see you and thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk about sometimes when you're working on somebody's foot, you'll come across an area and you're not quite sure if you're working on a callus or is it a plantar wart. So I want to show you how to tell easily if you're working with a wart or a callus. Then if you do find out that you're working on a wart, is it safe? And also I want to share with you a remedy to get rid of this wart. So what is a callus and what is a plantar wart? So first of all, plantar wart means a wart that's on the plantar surface of the foot, hence, plantar wart, right? And that's what I'm talking about in this video, because there are, you get warts all over your body. But plantar warts is something that, as a reflexologist we come across. It's quite a common thing. And so I wanted to share with you, my ideas and thoughts on plantar warts. So that's what we're going to talk about. And basically a wart is caused by a viral infection, right? On the top layers of the skin. And, you might have gotten it from going to the pool in your bare feet and you have a little, cut or some kind of opening or weakness in the skin that this virus got into. And then, then the wart develops and then it exists, right? They're very rare to get passed on from person to person as far as, working as a reflexologist on the feet. Are you going to get warts just because you worked on somebody who has them on their feet? And it's quite rare, especially if you practice good hygiene, right? Keeping your hands clean during the session, before and after, and making sure you're not touching yourself when you're working with somebody's foot, right? Warts in general tend to be a little bit sensitive, so it's not that common that you're going to go right in there and work right on the wart only anyway. So. But again, this is something that might freak out a lot of people. For me, I've never had kind of an issue working with plantar warts, but maybe you do. And if you do, that's totally fine. You need to be comfortable when you're doing reflexology. So sometimes, estheticians or other professionals that work on the feet they're actually going to wear some kind of gloves when they work on somebody that has any type of fungus or viral infection, things like that. So again, I'm only talking about plantar warts in this because there's a whole bunch of foot kind of viruses and funguses that you definitely need to be cautious about. But warts, I find personally, I don't need to be that cautious over them. When I do see them, I do want to make sure that I wash my hands and not touching any body parts while I'm working on somebody. So having that said, what is a callus? And a callus is basically hardening skin, right? You'll get them in areas where the foot is exposed to friction or constant rubbing, right? So a real good area that you get calluses on is, on the neck reflexes and things like that. So that tends to be common in the body. And in reflexology, when your posture is a little bit off, your head's forward or things like that, your balance has to shift to compensate inside your shoes, and then that's where you get calluses, right? So it's the constant rubbing on the shoe that causes calluses. But you'll find them in weird spots. It's common to have a callus or a wart somewhere on the big toe, right? And warts are about the same size as the end of a pencil, and I'll just kind of show you. And so what I want to show you now is how do you tell then if you have a wart versus a callus? And it's a simple pinching test. Okay, so calluses, they might be a little bit sore because they've been rubbing and stuff like that, but in general, they're not like a sharp pain when you actually play with them or manipulate them, right? But they can be a little bit sore. But a wart on the other hand, so I made a little indent here so you can kind of see. If you pinch it on the sides, so for example, east and west, bringing it together, and to exercise a little bit of caution here, you don't want to just go in and go, Brr. You actually want to slowly just bring it in together because it can be quite painful. So if it is a wart, they tend to be more of a sharper ouch. It's like it doesn't want to get squished. So it basically sends you a pain signal, right? So you pinch it on that side and then you slowly pinch it north to south. If there's a sharp kind of pain, and you can tell by looking at the client's eyes around here, if they kind of wince a little bit, you can feel it if they kind of like jump back a little bit. When I see something that I'm not sure about and I need to do this pinch test, I'm going to communicate to the client that, oh, there's something on your foot here, I'm just going to give it a little squeeze and see if it's painful at all. And then that way we have the communication open, and they will let me know if there's pain. So if there is pain, then you have a plantar wart, right? Especially if it's a little bit of a sharper pain. So I sometimes ask the client, how does this pain feel? Is it like a dull, or is it kind of like a sharp pain? And if it's a sharp pain, you're dealing with a plantar wart. Then you can use this little remedy that I came across, and it seems to work about 90% of the time, which is pretty awesome. And all you need is half an aspirin, tea tree oil, and some spoons, and a bandage to apply, right? So the process is like this. You take half an aspirin, break it off, cut it if you need to, and you put it on like a spoon. And I use something more like a soup spoon, so it's a little bit bigger. And I take 2 spoons, right? So one will be on the bottom, and then I take the aspirin, put it there, and I crush up the half an aspirin with the other spoon, creating like a powder, right? And then I'm going to take my tea tree oil, and I'm going to put 7 to 9 drops in there, and then I'm going to take this spoon again and mix it, and it turns into like a paste. And then what you want to do is take this paste, probably not all of it, but you can take most of it, and apply it to the center on the bandage. And then you apply the bandage, the aspirin mix, right onto the wart, right? And you leave this on probably for the full day, and then change it maybe at night. And you keep this process going for 2 weeks. So a lot of the clients that I've worked with, they told me that it went away early, but what you need to do is keep it going for the full 2 weeks, because even though it might have gone in 7 days or a week and a half, it's like a tree. There's still roots that might be there, and you want to create the environment so that all of the roots don't want to live there anymore. Try this out, see if it works for you. A lot of other people, if you do internet searches, you'll find some people have great success with things like duct tape, or I've seen, actually one of my other clients, they just used lavender oil and tea tree oil and followed the same process of wearing it for 2 weeks, and it was gone. So it's really great. Also a note too that a lot of these plantar warts kind of disappear after 2 years, right? I've also had a lot of clients, and they'll go to the doctors and they'll get it burnt off, right? And a lot of them have come back. And I think the reason why is that, again, it's like the tree roots where you basically burnt the top of it, but still it's able to grow back and come back to life and take over your foot again. I find that maybe this process of using the aspirin, because some of the clients that have gotten them burned off came to me and used the remedy that I showed you, and it's gone away. So that's been really great. I would also like to hear if there's anything that you've come across while working with clients, and how do you tell if it's a plantar wart versus a callus? And if there's any remedies that you use that have been successful, I'd like to hear about them, and leave them in a comment below so other people can read about them and try them out for themselves. The remedy that I shared with you seems to work about 90% of the time, which is great. So hope that helps. Hopefully plantar warts don't freak you out. But again, just practice proper hygiene. Until next time, happy reflexology, and catch you later. Bye-bye. Let me know what you thought of this video by leaving a comment below. Any type of feedback can be useful. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you found it useful, feel free to share it with anybody who might be interested. Make sure that you have subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. And make sure that you hit, or better yet, step on that bell icon so you know when the next video is coming out. And if you have some more time, why don't you check out some other videos? Till next time, this is Adam Thomas from balancingtouch.ca.